How many functions do you need your mouse to deliver on? That will decide what is the best mouse for you. So on my desk, I use the MX Master 3S. And you're probably like, okay, that's a lot of numbers and names, but let me tell you, this thing can do a lot of stuff. So peep this. So we have our right click, we have our main click, we have our click wheel, which also has a button in it. We'll have this other button. There's also another scroll wheel here, as well as two buttons here. And right here, there's another button that you can press down and use for gestures on your Mac. So I use this thing all the time. It's my main mouse. Why do I love it? Okay, so let's start with the gestures. So I think often when you have a non-Magic Mouse from Apple, gestures on your Mac get a lot more difficult. So gestures being like, how do you get to your programs? How do you clear your screen? Like all that stuff you can do a lot easier by pressing this button that fits pretty well in your hand and sliding up and down. Like I'm a huge fan of this because it just adds more integration into it. But if we count that button as 4 buttons, which it is, up, down, right, and left, we also count the horizontal wheel, the vertical wheel, plus the click of the vertical wheel, and these other buttons here, you get a grand total of a bunch of buttons. And if that's gonna overwhelm you, this is not the mouse for you. But if you are creative like me, if you are on Photoshop a lot, if you are in Premiere, if you're in Lightroom, guess what? You can use Logi options to change what all these buttons do depending on the application. So sometimes when I'm in Lightroom, I think it's really annoying that it can be kind of hard to zoom once you're already using the healing brush. And so what do? I added in so my horizontal scroll zooms for me, so I don't have to click out of my workflow. I also like that these left to right ones I do is undo and redo in Photoshop, but in Lightroom, I use the front one to copy my presets and paste them elsewhere. So it's just about kind of speeding it up. I believe in the product briefing for this, they said something like our hands travel like 10 miles a year on mice. And so one of the things that's cool about the MX Master 3 is the optical sensor allows you to get all the way up to 8K DPI, 8,000, which means you don't have to push your hand as far to get as far, which means that 10 miles might go down a little bit and our wrist can be a little bit safer. So I like this a ton. I have a white one because I live life on the edge, but it also comes in black. This is, in my opinion, the best mouse because it is ergonomic, it is price effective. Survey says that it comes into, anybody want to guess? $100. And I would say before you get a keyboard or anything else, this is what you want to do. You can add in so much more functionality. But I am not the normal user. Other people have left hands. Other people want way less buttons. And other people like ergonomics even more than the ones that are in the MX Master 3. So what do they want? What do those folks want to buy? They want to think about the MX Vertical or the Lift for left-handed folks. Now, this is the only other mouse we're going to talk about, but it's kind of important to bring up. So I'm going to show you the right-handed one. I'm a right-handed guy, but you'll see immediately that I kind of have big hands. And so you'll see immediately I'm like craning over this like a predator prey. So if you have hands like mine, I would tell you to get the MX Vertical. The MX Vertical comes with one additional button up here than the Lift does, but the Lift is made for folks with smaller hands, and I actually think it's great. Folks that care about use this. The wheel is super quiet. There's a forward, there's a back, there's a little button right here. And lastly, we still have these like handy dandy buttons I talked about here. And having it vertical, just that little chain in the angle that you hold it will have your hand sit a little bit more, rest a little bit more comfortably, and is better for you long term. I'm not saying that the MX Master 3S is bad. I'll just say that these are the most ergonomic of mice. If you have a left hand, I would tell you, I know that for a long time, folks have had to just deal with it and use their right hand, but if you are left-handed and you want to use a mouse, this is the good one, is the best one for you. The lifts only come in at $70. The DPI is a little bit lower, it's down to 4,000, so about half. But like I said, all these wheels, can you hear that? Them joints are quiet. I would say they're just a little bit, just a little bit. Shout out to this movie, My Computer as I Do It. This is a little bit louder, but it's not very loud at all. And lastly, something else to bring up about the MX3 Mini for MX3S before I forget is It's a quiet click, which is awesome. So if you're doing a ton of things, you want to use the MX Master 3S. If you're doing fewer things and just like word processing, web browsing, texting people, get the ergonomics, get the lift, get the mechanical. Your body will be much happier because of it. And also, I think both of them are fine to travel. There's like a logitech case you can get, or if you don't want to do that, you can just put it in other things. But yeah, no, more than keyboards, more than any other accessory, the mouse I think is super helpful for you. So once again, if you are maybe doing accounting or using like complex programs, like Excel or Premiere or After Effects or things like that, where you kind of want to speed up your process using keyboard shortcuts, also keep in mind getting something like the MX Master 3S is great for mouse shortcuts. And if not, you want to go here. And that's not to say you can't customize what these buttons do. You just have less of them. 10 buttons versus 4, you know, it's not the end of the world. It's just kind of about what you want. And yeah, that is my review of the mice. As the holiday season comes, like, remember to take care of yourself first. Don't spend money you don't have. But if you want to upgrade your desktop or your travel setup, this is the one to do it. Oh, and lastly, for travel, I would tell you to get either the MX Vertical or the Lift. They just pack a little bit better in my opinion. And also, it's nice to remind yourself on travel to take care of your body. Thanks. Peace.